Good morning. After that great talk that we had with Jermaine, it's impossible to really follow up. However, instead of a presentation, I'm not going to push my luck. I want us to have a conversation. Una cometa vuela más alto en contra del viento que con el viento. Nunca le temas a la oposición. A kite rises against the wind, not with the wind. Never fear opposition. Those words were etched in my first prison cell in 1994. My name is Javier Miranda, and I'm here today to talk about the power of language to redefine what matters. I'm also going to take this opportunity to introduce you to a concept for personal development called the 6 accounts. But first, a story. And like all the stories that I enjoy the most, this one starts with once upon a time. So once upon a time, this handsome fellow was imprisoned in a maximum security prison near the Canadian border. He was in the yard playing cards with one of the biggest, baddest, and ugliest guys in the whole facility. After the guy winning 3 times in a row, our guy got up, built his courage, looked the guy straight in the eye, and said, "You are snitching." At that point, the whole yard went quiet. The whole yard went quiet. Everybody was looking forward to what was going to happen next. What happened next? Use your imagination. That night, my neighbor, laughing, explained to me that I had used the wrong word to describe what the man was doing. I say snitching, I meant cheating. Point of my story, language matters. More to the point, language can affect your health. So let's talk about the word rehabilitation. It's a very important word in the quest for social justice. In the mid-1970s, men in prison at Sing Sing went to sleep prisoners in a prison and woke up inmates at a correctional facility. In the same breath, prison guards showed up to work that morning and discovered that they were now correctional officers. What happened? Well, politicians and activists came to the mutual understanding that language matters, especially in regards to the criminal justice system. Language matters. During my first interview with my correctional counselor 26 years ago, she said to me, "Tú tienes que ser rehabilitado," in Spanish, which means you need to be rehabilitated. What she meant was that I needed to learn the language, number one, to get an education, to get a vocational, and to get a job, none which I had before. Very intriguing, this word rehabilitation. So let us talk about the word rehabilitation. The common definition of the word rehabilitation is to be restored to health or useful life through therapy or education. The root of the word rehabilitation is the word rehabilitare, which means to be restored to their original form. Something magical happened in the last 20 years in corrections. Guys, thanks to Hudson Link, Bard, and the New York Theological Seminary, are able to obtain their higher education. Now they are questioning life, they are questioning language, and they don't feel comfortable with the word rehabilitation. You might wonder why. Well, they have developed 3 issues with the word rehabilitation. Number one, the word rehabilitation presupposes that the individual already had been habilitated. However, they argue that they had never been taught how to be a good son, a good brother, a good member of the community, and more important, a good member of our society. The second issue that they have with the word is that the words implies that they want to be restored to the original form. But these men are in prison. They don't want to be restored to the original form because the original form led them to prison. They want to do better. So the third issue that they have is the word rehabilitation sort of connotes a medical term, that you're sick, that you're broken. And I'm here today to say, if you have been told that you need to be rehabilitated, you're not sick, you're not broken, you're just unable to cope. There is hope. So let us examine the word rehabilitation. There's another word that we can utilize that provides hope, meaning, pride to the process. And this word is habilitation. Habilitation is defined as the acquisition of skills. It provides pride to the whole process of bettering yourself. Habilitation implies that we are worthy individuals capable of personal development, capable of change. The word habilitation is a process. In this process, many guys are in the wilderness. What is the wilderness? The wilderness represents this sense of not living to your full potential. The wilderness represents this inner emptiness when you know you can do better. There's nothing strange about the wilderness. We all experience the wilderness at one point or another. It's just that some people can't get out of the wilderness. They spend more than 40 years wandering. Now, the wilderness is part of the human condition. It's part of the journey towards the promised land. And what is the promised land? The promised land is your ideal self. It's being the best you that you can be. That's sink, right? It's like shedding your past, shedding everything bad, and being the best you that you can be. Amen. Now, there's a process. How we get there. How you know that when you need to be habilitated? Well, you need to be habilitated when you're not happy with your life. That's the bottom line. When you feel broken. And let me tell you, unless you have been hit by a bus, you're not broken. You're just in need of learning coping skills to deal with life. Did that make sense? Let nobody tell you that you are useless, that you're broken, that your brokenness overwhelming. No. There is hope. If you're alive, there is hope. Hope to do better and to be better. So now, my second part of the talk is to talk about personal development. So I'm going to introduce you to a concept for personal development called the 6 accounts. We're all familiar with, especially Mr. Ford in the audience, with saving and checking accounts. What we do with them, most of the time, we deposit money. In the 6 accounts, we don't deposit money, we deposit goals. What is a goal? A friend of mine told me last night, a goal is a dream with steps. That sounds wonderful, a dream with steps. So what we do is that we deposit goals into these accounts. So now, the 6 accounts divide your life into 6 parts. The spiritual, the relationship, the mind, the body, community, and the material account. They're all important, but the point is that you have to pay attention to your accounts in order to live a full life. If you focus too much on your work and you neglect your family, there's unbalance, you suffer. If you don't focus on your spiritual life and you don't focus on your mind, but you focus on your body, your life suffers. So the point is to have balance. And through this process, you're able to experience something wonderful, which is personal development. You become better. For example, if I had an issue with my brother, I acknowledge that relationship and I deposit goals into that relationship. Recently, I had a situation in which one of my friends ate the last jelly donut. So it was an issue, right? And we didn't spoke for a couple of weeks. It's a jelly donut. It would have been a chocolate maybe, but a jelly donut. In my account, I already have it set up that we're going to meet up again. And I'm going to bring 8 jelly donuts to the meeting. So the point is that you work on your relationships. At the same time that I work on my school, on the same time that I work on helping somebody else, I work on my relationships around me. At the time of my arrest, in 1994, I was broken. I was responsible for the loss of a human life, a man doing his job. Even though I didn't pull the trigger, I'm just as responsible as the man who did. The realization made me feel at the time broken. And it's hard to live feeling broken. Remorse and regret can be very destructive. It can paint your life in a certain way that you don't see the future. However, that same feeling can be utilized to motivate you to do better, to be better. I was very lonely until I started seeing the guy to my left and to my right as human beings worthy of love and friendship. That changed, that was a paradigm change. I saw my life in a different view, and I discovered purpose. So, in conclusion, number one, I invite everybody here to use a better word to describe personal development. Instead of rehabilitation, let us use habilitation. We're going to habilitate people to do better, to be a better father, to be a better brother, to be a better member of our community. There's a connection. If you self-center and you don't acknowledge your connection to our community, there's a problem. You will never find happiness because there's no connection with the world. So that's number one. Number two, be careful when you say snitching. Okay, that make it three then. Personal development is possible. Even if you've been told that you're no good, you're broken, that, it is possible. I have witnessed the power of personal development. At the time of my arrest, I couldn't even speak English. And I had no education. Through my incarceration and through the help of wonderful people in uniform and without, well, they also have uniform green. So I had obtained the help that I need for personal development. Now, I earn my GED, an associate's degree, a bachelor's degree, and master's degree. Thank you. But just like Sean Pica and many other men that are mingling in the room, I discovered that education alone don't make me a better person. What I do with that education is that make the difference. And right now, each man who is around me and in society need my help as a member of the community. I'm part of the whole. My name is Javier Miranda, and I thank you for your time.